Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at 3 brand new watch releases that have really piqued my interest in the last couple of weeks. Now it seems a bit of a weird time to be launching a new watch or a new model. However, 3 pretty well established brands at this point. The first one we're going to have a look at, not as established but definitely making a bit of a wave in the watch community, have decided to release either new watches or new models. So as I was saying, very interesting time to do it with what's going on. However, particularly this first model we're going to look at has been a massive success. So clearly they've made a good decision by launching it now. So having a look at this first model, it is the Islander watch. Now if you don't know anything about Islander watches, let me just give you a quick background. So Mark, who owns and operates Long Island Watch, has been an authorised dealer for many brands for quite a few years now, and is very renowned and trusted in the watch space for giving excellent customer service and also having a really good YouTube channel. About a year ago, with the announcement of the SKX being phased out and what is called the 5KX, the Seiko 5 Sports model, which has the aesthetics of the SKX, however it has sacrificed the professional diving certification that the SKX has, and also the screw down crown. That's alienated a lot of people. So in response, Mark, who did a lot of Seiko mods, used those replacement parts and also created some new ones to launch his own watch company called Islander Watches. And as you can imagine, these have been a massive success, as what he's done is he's targeted all the areas where people have said is that SKX needs improvement to make it a bit more modern in terms of its materials, and he's done that in a range of colours and sizes, and he's really listened to his community and implemented those changes. So as you'd expect, it's been massively successful. Now I've always been interested in the watch and it's supporting him because I think for the content that he puts out and for the way that he respects and treats his customers, I want to support him as a business. I want to, show some love. But I've never actually bought anything from him until this watch launched. Now I haven't actually ordered this, however, I'm currently saving and I fully expect to pull the trigger in August when this comes available again, provided I can actually get a unit. But this is a 38mm SIL21, which is a brand new model. So it's quite an interesting piece. It's an amalgamation of quite a few different pieces. So as you can see here, this is sort of basically the case of an SKX 013, and then you've got the hands of a Marine Master. So I think that's interesting for me because I think the Marine Master is a beautiful watch. However, as someone with smaller wrists, realistically a Marine Master probably wouldn't be the right pick for me. So getting these hands on a 38mm watch is absolutely fantastic. So I'll quickly just take you through the specs. So for your $299, you get a NH36 movement. So again, this is the movement that people have been really asking for in the SKX, which we have got. We had the 4R36. However, obviously, as I mentioned, it did come with some sacrifices. So it's 38mm diameter, 13mm thick, which I've seen thicker for the same movement, so it's quite thin, really, it's good, and 44.5mm tip to tip, so very, very compact. So for smaller wrists, that would be a really good option. Obviously, you've got a screw-in case back, screw-in crown, and you've got an anti-reflective sapphire on this piece, which I think I may have seen people say it was double domed. I think that is double domed actually. So you've got drilled end lugs, and you've got 200-meter water resistance. Now, I'm pretty sure this isn't a certified diver, so you don't have that same sort of clamour that the SKX has. However, it is 200 meters water resistant with a screw down crown, which is also signed as well, and a screw down case back. So yeah, 41-hour power reserve on that movement. So it's got super luminova on the hands, 120 click bezel, and it's got a sapphire insert on there. Oh yeah, and double dome sapphire with anti-reflective. So I think the design is really what's drawn me to this. So it's got a beautiful sunburst. You've got the Islander logo just below the 12, and then you've got a day date window. And if you have a look at the wrist shots, you can see it's been sort of nicknamed as the Hulk, so a bit like the Rolex. However, this looks like a much lighter green to me. And I just think in terms of wearing this in the summertime, it's going to be absolutely amazing. What this is the summer that we have left. And there's that signed crown again. And you've got a case back there, screw down. And as you can probably see, it's screw links as well. And I'm pretty sure that clasp is milled as well, so it should have some nice action to it. And it's got a coin edge bezel, and there's the loom shot. So in terms of a value proposition, absolutely outstanding. I think it's such a nice combination of the Marine Master, but with the smaller sizing as well. And I think particularly in terms of an SKX homage, because there are quite a few brands now that do this, it's nice just to have a bit of a different combination with the hands as well. I mean, this watch sold out in hours. Literally, I think it was 4 hours, and I think Mark said that there were around 100 pieces. So it wasn't a tiny allocation, but obviously it wasn't particularly large either. That's definitely going to be something that I look to pick up in August, because I've got a few months to save for it as well. Got a birthday coming up, so I'll attribute some of that money to it. $2.99 for me in the UK. It'll be $10 shipping. But I would expect to have to pay VAT on that coming in, and probably some sort of import charge as well, because the government love to make sure that you're doing your bit in taxes. And then you also launched this one at the same time, a bit different SKX hands, but similar in terms of its actual features. I'll just quickly show you. So these are all the different Islander watches. So you've got some amazing dark colours. You've got a really nice orange, you've got yellows, you've got a really nice white. That's been massively popular, that's sold out. And this has been massively popular. Random Rob has done a review on that. Very nice looking piece. Okay, so that's the first watch, that's the Islander watch. And we'll move on to the second. Now this watch had a lot of hype around it last year, shocked a lot of people, and it's had a lot of reviews done on YouTube, and that is the Timex Q reissue. Now, last year, I believe it was last year, this version launched, which is the blue and red Pepsi. And recently, and I've only seen this in the last week or so, so I'm pretty sure this is brand new. We've got an orange and blue, which is quite similar to the red. You've also got a white, red and blue, which I think is fantastic with that patinaed look. And my favourite, which is this black and green on a black dial, again with the patinaed look to the indices. Now, if you don't know much about this watch, it's a reissue of some of Timex's older designs. It's a quartz piece. It's got an acrylic crystal, as it says there, 38mm again. You've got this sort of integrated, I don't believe it is integrated bracelet, but it's kind of looks like it. And now this is kind of on the opposite end to the Islander watch. For this, you are very much paying for the fact that it's a Timex. It's got a really good design and it's retro in look, because for your £159, if you go off purely off spec, it's nothing special at all. You're working with an acrylic, which isn't a problem. I mean, you've got Speedmasters with acrylic, so that's part of the charm of that, so I do like that. However, it's only 50 metres, water resistant, and it's quartz, so, you know, for your £159, you have to really like the design. I've seen quite a few reviews of not only this watch, but also the, I hope this is the right one, the M79, which is the automatic. Yeah, where it's very much people saying you have to really like the design, because for this sort of cash, and I appreciate that's quite a bit more expensive, but for that sort of cash, you've got a lot of options out there, particularly when it comes to retro style watches. But this one's definitely caught my eye. I really like the fact they're expanding the range. I still think it would be killer if they put a hand wound movement in here. It'd still keep the thinness, because it's about 11mm. Yeah, 11.5, so it's very thin, but if they still have a hand wound movement in there, charge £200, I think that would go a long way to bringing some more customers in, because it would be seen as a much better value proposition. Saying that though, they've got 349 reviews, and this model was sold out for quite a long time, and I imagine these will sell very well as well. So Timex probably aren't that fussed, to be honest, because they're doing really well. And props to Timex because they've been making good watches for a long time since they switched to quartz. A lot of very iconic watches, particularly field watches. However, this sort of dive back into retro style watches and really celebrating their heritage is absolutely fantastic. So massive props to Timex, and that's the second watch that's really caught my attention in the last few weeks, and I've got to say that green bezel is absolutely fantastic. So this third watch is one that I only saw about 3 days ago. I think it's literally just launched, and it's a new model from Phoebus. And I was quite excited when I got the email for this because I've literally just uploaded my review for my Phoebus Wavemaster, sort of a long-term review, about a year and a half. That'll be on my channel if you want to check that out. And I was also quite excited because it's quite a different design with a couple of different homage aspects to other watches, which I really enjoyed when I noticed. So we'll just quickly go through the specs here. So again, you've got the NH35 movements, very common for microbrand watches and Phoebus, and the second in this video in fact. We have 316L stainless steel, and we have a 22mm lug width, and we've got double domed sapphire crystal with AR coating, 300 meters water resistant. Again, this isn't ISO certified at all, however it will have a screw down crown and case back, 42mm diameter, 49 lug to lug and 13 thick. So yeah, quite a decent wrist presence with that 49mm lug to lug. 120 click ceramic bezel. Yep, as I say, screw down crown, and you've got 15 layers of Super Luminova and BGW9. And Phoebus Lume is absolutely fantastic. It's not far off being Seiko standard, in my opinion. So no surprise that they've gone to town with that. Yep, 2-year guarantee. And this particular model has a meteorite dial, and they've specified where the meteorite is actually from, composition, and some information there, which is really good because I think when you're charging a premium, and there is quite a premium for the meteorite dial, it's good that they've given you that extra information. Now going into the actual design itself, so you can get a bit bigger. The first thing that stood out to me were a couple of the sort of little homages. So in terms of the actual bezel design, that's definitely got a bit of Rolex Submariner to it in terms of the font used. The next thing I noticed was these lugs, which very much remind me of a Seiko Samurai in terms of that quite aggressive, really engineered look to it. And then also this lightning bolt hand, which, you know, I don't think I've seen on anything else other than the Rolex Milgauss really, and you don't really see it, to be honest, outside of AliExpress homage watches, so I thought it was pretty cool to see it on a Phoebus. I just think it's a really cool design. So I actually researched Proteus, and I mentioned it in my Wavemaster review that I would like to see more in relation to Phoebus and its Greek link in terms of their story, where they essentially, the founders went to Greece on a holiday and they were inspired by the landscape and the beauty of Greece as a country, because it's a very beautiful country, to start their own watch brand. And I sort of commented that I didn't really feel that in my Wavemaster, that it was particularly Greek inspired. However, obviously with Proteus, and I did a bit of research into Proteus, I think he was a subject of Poseidon, so I think it was something to do with allowing safe travel across the ocean. So, you know, clearly you've got a nice link there to both sort of dive watches and Greek mythology. But with the actual dial itself and the name, it sort of reminds me a bit more of a sort of that sort of rugged look. Reminds me of the ocean. So yeah, I think it's very cool. You've got a date window, which looks nicely done actually. It's nicely framed with quite a bit of depth to it. I think this crown looks really good. It's got really nice sort of engineering to it. So have a look at some of the different pictures. Yeah, as you can see, it's a signed crown. Looks really good. Yeah, and as you can see, they've really stepped up their game with the case backs. That looks really strong. And as you can see, you've got screw links, and known Phoebus, that will be a milled clasp as well. And yeah, that's the loom, which is absolutely fantastic by the looks of it. Yeah, and there's a picture of it. Some lights, looks very nice. In terms of the engineering, it kind of reminds me of their Great Wall model, in terms of that almost over-engineered look. So they haven't really done with many of their watches. So this is the rest of them. So you've got two meteorites, you've got the black we just looked at and the grey. You've got a blue, a black and a white, which I think the white's going to be very popular. As you can see, it's got a really textured dial. And a lot of these sort of dials really remind me of sort of an ocean floor kind of look. I think Phoebus has done a really good job with this. Yeah, they describe it as grainy. Yeah, it kind of has like a sand texture to it. Yeah, so I think Phoebus has done a really good job there, and I think €279 for the specs, and I believe you can actually get 15% off at the moment with a code, which I'll include in the description. It's a limited time code. It's just because they've launched. It might be. I think it's 15% off for 2 weeks. So if you're watching this, within a couple of weeks, try the code. If it's after, it probably won't work. But I think by the time you've taken 15% off, I think that's really good value. So I mean, that's what, €35, just over. Yeah, that seems like really good value to me. So those are the 3 watches that have really caught my attention in the last few weeks. If you've seen anything at all that has caught your attention, particularly in the affordable range, please feel free to share that down below, or send me a message on Instagram, which will also be linked down below. Let me know what you think about these watches. What do you think about the Islander watch? What do you think? Do you think it's just great spec-wise? Do you think it's a good-looking watch? What do you think of the Phoebus? What do you think of the Timex? Any other opinions, thoughts? Share them down below. Please remember to like the video and share it to try and help build the channel. And subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you see our uploads before anyone else. And with that, guys, I will leave you to it. And thank you for watching.